So we got off the call, y'all, and y'all, as y'all can imagine, I'm all about giving back. Like that's my heart. So I was devastated. Do you hear me? I was crying. I was like, I cannot believe that I cost these people a home. These people getting their doors kicked in, getting robbed, not having enough space, rodents. This was their opportunity, and I messed it up for them. So I was beside myself. What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Mini Thoughts with Dr. T. I hope y'all are doing well. I'm doing good. Um, Normally, I teach summer school, right? And between summer school and the fall semester, I normally have about 2 to 3 weeks off where I don't have to worry about grading and answering emails and stuff. So I've been enjoying that, but I gotta get back into it next week. And it's so funny because you know, when people tell me like how I like being a professor and everything, I always say it's an element of it that's like a lot of social work going on. Like y'all, when I believe the type of things that people ask me, I have to deal with. I'm sure it's not just me. I'm sure all professors have to do with this type of stuff. I mean, one and I teach graduate students, y'all. So most of the time, these are people that are normally going back to school, just to further their education. So most people are older than I am. So it's not like Tanisha be easy on them because they kids and they learn. No, these are like grown people with like grandkids and children. Um, one lady, she was like, Dr. Wise, I'm just letting you know my sister had a baby. And I was like, okay, what that got to do with you though? You see what I'm saying? It's like me and her, we gonna be the primary caregivers. I mean, all type of stuff. They're always looking for like extensions to turn in their work and stuff. And it can even be so serious as one lady called me like at 7 a.m. one time, like crying. And I was like, what's going on? And she told me that her sister had a miscarriage, right? And which, I've been through that as well. So I totally understand that. During COVID, somebody was like, I was on a ventilator last week. I'm out the country. I'm getting married. My internet went out at 11:59. I know that the assignment was due at midnight. It's just, and so you're always in this position of like, and it kind of goes along with the topic I'm talking about today. It's like, do I give grace? Do I believe them? Right? Um, it's just, and it's my thing, right? And this is a little
This
tangent, but I'm gonna
is
get
a
back.
tangent.
My advice always is like, I'm gonna be teaching this same class next semester, the semester after that, probably the semester after that. So I'm like, this class isn't going anywhere, so don't worry about it. Withdraw from the class and worry and focus on what you need to focus on. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have something that's this big issue that's happening, why don't you focus on that versus having to worry about turning in chapter 6 and that, you see what I'm saying? So that's what I always say. I'm like, listen, you can withdraw and it's okay. But see, they want me to bend over backwards to try to anyway, and I'm nice, so I do a lot of the times, but I just be like, withdraw. Don't worry, it's okay. I'm gonna be here. I'm really gonna be here. Anyway, I said all to say they be taking me through. But it is nice when you get a student that maybe like once or twice a semester, they'll say something nice. And I got this nice email I wanted to share with y'all. I thought it was so sweet. So this person said, "Hi, Dr. Woods. I hope this email finds you well. I just wanted to reach out and let you know that I truly enjoyed your class. It was one of the most influential classes I've had since undergrad, and I truly believe that it will aid my professional goals. Please continue to be great." So I thought that was so sweet. So when you get emails like that, it does um, make a lot of the drama worth it. Okay. But anyway, let's get into it. Let me bring up my slides here. Y'all, my life is so complex. Y'all know that's just my part-time job, my full-time job. I'm a corporate trainer as well. And so I'm just always teaching. I got 3 kids. So I'm on a time crunch. I got like 25 minutes to hear them squeeze this in before I need to go do something else. So, but I don't think it'll be that long. So anyway, episode 7 is about my ethical dilemma, the cost of doing the right thing. And the mini thought is, why does having integrity sometimes feel wrong? And y'all know sometimes it can feel like even, in politics or in real life and situations, you can feel like, but I'm trying to do the right thing, but people are making it hard. But then you see other people that are cutting corners and taking shortcuts, and it seems like they're getting ahead, right? So I wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about a situation that happened to me a couple months ago that has to do with ethics, okay? And it centers around, and don't laugh, y'all. I know this is like big as my face, but let me take a drink of water. Um, Habitat for Humanity. So I love Habitat for Humanity. A lot of y'all probably have heard about it. And it is a organization. I'm gonna just read this and then I'll break it down. Habitat for Humanity's vision is a world where everyone has a decent place to live. According to their website, their mission is to put God's love into action by bringing people together to build homes, communities, and hope. And then how does it work? It operates by partnering families, volunteers, and donors to build, renovate, and repair homes. And basically, what they do is they bring, for example, they may get money from the city, from different organizations, corporations, whatever, and they that use that money to build houses for people that are less fortunate. And you're talking about people that are in dire situations, whether whether that be some type of danger, maybe they're getting robbed all the time at where they currently stay. They in they might have rodents, roaches, whatever, whatever situation might be, 15 people living in one house, just some type of dire situation. And most of the times, I think they may be making, I think the prerequisite might be like $20,000 or less. So, they're not going to be able to get a home any other way. And so it's a great organization. And they take the money from these different entities and they use that to build homes for these people. But the thing about it is Habitat for Humanity, they don't have like a team of 20 construction workers or anything. Like the one in my local city, it's like 2 people. It's like the project manager and it's like one other person. So they depend on the community to come help build the homes. And that's what's so cool about it. So for example, at where I work, I used to be over the African American organization, and that's something we did like twice a year. We go out there for the whole day and we help build homes. And you could be working on anything, just like you can see in this picture. You might be working on the roof or the stairs or something inside the home. But it's just, they just depend on the community to come out and help because they don't have a team. Um, so it's really cool. And the people that are getting the houses, it's something called sweat equity. So if you are getting a house, you have to put in, I don't know, 2,000 hours yourself. You know what I'm saying? So they even have to get out and they may not be working on their home per se, but they're working on somebody else's home. So it's real cool. And that's, you have to do that in order to get a house. So you can do that, or you can work in the Habitat for Humanity store, which is kind of like a Goodwill. So it's not a handout. It's like they really have to put in and do that work. But anyway, I really, really enjoy it, and I've been a part of it for I don't know, probably about 6 or 7 years now. And there's 2 parts of it. It's like there's that part where people volunteer and stuff. But what I do, I'm on the board of Habitat for Humanity for my local city or whatever. And so we are the people that make decisions about who gets the homes. Okay. Before I get into that piece, let me tell you a little bit about why I do it. So this is me working on one of the homes. I think uh I think I was putting caulk, see that orange stuff, inside of the home to help with insulation. So like the wind and stuff wouldn't get in. I don't really know, but don't worry about it because they come and they inspect. Okay. So that those people houses, it was cool. Everything was safe and it was cool. I don't know. I was just doing whatever they told me to do. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. Y'all see the little gun I got. So it was dope. Anyway, the reason why I do it I love giving back. If y'all looked at episode 6, y'all already know how me and my family get down. That's just something we enjoy, and, we're in such a, like, a giving season right now. I know that, my son, he got invited to a birthday party, and so I was in conversation with, his friend's mother, and that day, the mom was like, something came up with a health emergency with me and my husband. We're not gonna be able to go, but the party's still on. So, he went and everything. And a couple days later, I was just like, oh yeah, let me check and see if everything's okay. And I was like, is everything okay? And she told me that her husband had cancer and had been battling with that. And I was like, oh man. So, just sent them like a little cancer care package, a little blanket, massage gun, stuff like that. And she called and she was just so grateful for that. And also one of my older cousins, he was retiring, so we surprised him and sent him a little retirement package, just like a little hat that said like this legend has retired or something like that. Another friend of mine, brother was tragically killed in a car accident, so sent them a little thing to, I forgot what it was called. Was it a lighthouse or something like that? It was something, like a keepsake that she can keep in her house that she can light up to remind herself. But anyway, the point is, we just love giving back. So this is just right along that same alley, for me and for our family. And I like it even more because here it's like you're touching people we don't know. Like I don't know whose house this will be or any other houses, but just being able to play a little part in it is really good. And then also the second thing is being a part of a global community. Habitat for Humanity was started, I think, in 1976. So actually, next year it'll be 50 years. They're in all 50 states, 70 countries. I think they said they've touched over 60 million people. So that's just awesome, man. Can you believe that? Two people had an idea, and they're a Christian couple, had an idea, and to see that it spread over 50 years across the world, they've been able to give so many people homes. And I just think there's power in coming together with other people to do good. So that's really why I enjoy it. And we're not getting paid. Nobody's getting paid. We're just out there just really doing it to give back to the community and just to help make the world a better place in the little way that we can. And then the final reason, this is the biggest reason, it just really keeps me grateful because you got to realize if you have a home, I don't care how you feel about it, you are blessed, like for real, for real. And we can lose sight of that. I'm sure all of us can say something we don't like about our house. If you ask me, I'm always say we don't have any storage. We do not have any storage in this house. I don't know what they were thinking when they were building this house, right? We only have the closets in our bedrooms, like that's it. And I had 3 kids, so you can imagine all the stuff we have. Matter of fact, yesterday I had one of the guys at my parents' church come like take some wood and like build a structure in our garage so we can put stuff up. It's crazy. But anyway, it's like even despite that, you're just so blessed. If you've never had to worry about having a bed, if you've never had to worry about living in a shelter, if you've never been homeless, if you've never lived in low income housing that's sketchy, if you've never had to live with family, you know what I'm saying? Where that's not even your space for real. They just letting y'all stay. You might have room. You know what I'm saying? You're so, so blessed. And that's why I love doing it. This always keeps me grateful and always helps me to remember that. And one of the principles that Habitat for Humanity has is promoting dignity and hope. And you don't know how something that we take for granted, having a house just gives you a sense of dignity, just having a place of your own and hope. You see what I'm saying? And so if you haven't been in those situations, you just really don't know. And that's I really enjoy it because it always centers me because y'all seen the slides on episode 6. Y'all see where I'm trying to get to 6,000 square feet. Y'all seen it. And I'm at 28 right now. But anyway, it centers me and it brings me back to what's really important. And then this is another thing.
This
It's
is a
like people
tangent.
be trying to make me feel guilty for because our kids don't each have their own bedroom. And see, when I be doing Habitat for Humanity, I be like, "No, no, because it's kids that don't have beds, it's kids that don't have rooms, okay? My kids don't want for anything, they have a good life, I'm not trying to hear it." And I tell everybody, if we had 10 kids, they'd be all in that one room, okay? Because 'Cause Imma have my office. My husband, he got an office studio, because he does music and production. Our guest room, we turning that into a studio as well, okay? So, when I do stuff like that, I'm like, "They good, they good, they good." Um, they don't even be in their room, they be in my living room, messing up my living room half the time anyway. But anyway, okay, I'm back. So the next thing I wanna talk to y'all about is, the home visit. So the way that this works is the application is very tedious, just like applying for, a mortgage, would be. And so they apply, and the people that make it through all these prerequisites, income levels, all the stuff, the second phase of that is a home visit. And so those of us that are on the board, this is the part that we do, and we have to go out to their homes. And, I don't have a reason to be riding around in the projects ever. You see what I'm saying? So again, this is why I really enjoy it and I love it. Because you get to see how everybody's living, not just in your own little bubble. And, they are very shady areas sometimes, very dangerous areas to the point where, because we go in pairs, if we don't feel comfortable, they'll have like a police escort to kind of like just sit outside or whatever until we're done type of thing. I don't need that, but you never know. I can't say I won't need it in the future. But yeah, man, it's just to see just the different situations and everything. It's a lot. Um, and we go just to ensure that the information that they put on the paper is accurate. Okay, they're telling us the proper things, the right people that they say live there, live there. Just observe the living situation because a big piece of it is that they're in like a dire situation. One time I remember. Let me put myself up on the screen here. One time I remember that there was a situation. There were like 10 people living in the house. And this guy, he had a wife and 2 kids, and they were staying in a room in the house, okay, a room. And, he slept on the floor, and he let, like, his 2 little girls and his wife in the bed. Like, it'd be all type of stuff, y'all. And so, yeah, so we go there just to make sure that all the information is accurate, just walk around the house, and I enjoy it, but at the same time, it is kinda cringe because a part of me is like, I just feel like we're coming in there like we're some moral high ground, like making some decision on their fate? So I kinda don't like that. So I always just try to put them at ease, like, it's not even like that. Like, we just having a conversation. This is not an interview per se. So you can relax. You don't have to be on pins and needles. I'm not judging your home, the way it looks, or anything like that. We're just doing this because this is a part of the process. So I just try to put them, at ease because I know that can be very, very, tense, and you can feel like, "I gotta do everything right so I can get this house. I gotta answer the questions perfectly, and I gotta," so I just try to put them at ease, like, it's okay. Um, so I wanted to share with you guys this particular, incident that happened probably a couple of months ago. I went to a home to visit with another, I was gonna say young lady, but she in her 70s. But anyway, so we went because a lot of these, this is volunteer. We're not getting paid for this. So a lot of people that do it are older, and I love the old people. They're just so sweet. Me and this other lady, Miss Audrey, we always do visits together. She's just so sweet. But I actually did this with a different lady this time, and so we went. It was her first time, and so I was like, "Don't worry about it. I'll kind of take the lead." So we went, and it was a lady, 5 or 6 kids staying in a project, y'all, maybe like 2, 3 bedrooms at the most. She had a husband. The husband couldn't work because he had, like, kidney disease or something like that. I don't know how she was making it work. I really don't. I just felt so bad. And, so she was telling us her situation. We did the walk around or whatever. She was telling us, like, the week before that, their back door had got kicked in, a couple months before that, her son's car got stolen. Just it was just a really bad neighborhood. I can just imagine living in fear, every night, like, is something gonna happen? Are we safe? Um, and then she was telling us, like, every time they flush the toilet, it makes like a really, really loud noise. And, somebody tells you that, you write it down. But then we were walking around, she was like, "Let me show y'all." So she did it. Y'all, it was so loud. I'm talking about loud, loud. And she was saying that, of course, she told the landlord and everything. They said they couldn't fix it because it was a part of some construction that was happening. And she said even at night, like, they can't flush the toilet or it'll wake everybody in the house up. So they either have to use it, everybody has to like use it and not flush it, or use it in a pot and just, flush it the next morning. And she said the noise lasts for about an hour every time. So it's just situations like that. Like, what? Of course they had like termites and rodents and all type of stuff. Just normally the issue too is just not enough space for all those people. And same thing, it was what, 7 of them in like a 3-bedroom in the projects. Like, it's just they're sleeping on top of each other. You can imagine, I'm complaining about storage, in a 4 or 5-bedroom house. You can imagine, just no storage. Yeah, it was bad. And so we got to the end, and one of the questions we have to ask is, when you move into the new home, if they get a new home, like, is there anybody else that could potentially like come by, stay, live? And so I think she mentioned that, or the husband mentioned that he had like a sister that could stay, and I think they had an older child that might could stay or whatever. So anyway, so we were done. We go outside. I'm talking to the lady that came with me. It was her first time. She was like I said, she's about in her 70s, like an older white lady. And she just like broke out in tears. And I was like, "What's going on? What happened?" And she was like, "I just didn't know. I didn't know people live like this." She was like, "I just didn't know. I didn't know. Like, I grew up with both my parents and I never went without. And we grew up on a farm." And I was like, "I know, that's the power of doing community service and doing things like this, being able to have a different perspective." So anyway, the next phase of it, so they apply, we do the home visit, and then like we all divide up and do the home visits, and then we all come together to vote. Most of the time, unless there's something shady happening, there's some big discrepancy, most of the times, they'll get a home or whatever. And so it was time for us to do the meeting. I do not know what happened, y'all. Let's say the meeting started at 4. I don't know why. For some reason, I thought it started at 4:30. So I get on the call and they've already voted on my people. And so me and there's another guy, we're the only like African American people on the board. So, we're really close. So I text him like, "What's up?" He was like, "T, where was you at? Like, your people didn't get voted in." I'm like, "Why?" So we're trying to like pay attention on the call because it's Zoom. So I'm trying to pay attention. And I'm also trying to be like, "What?" I was like, "What? How?" Like, y'all heard all the things I just named, because you gotta have to advocate and tell, how the visit went, and if you recommending getting a home or not. And so since I wasn't there, the lady had to say what happened. And we also have to write up a report. So I don't know what happened. I don't know why they didn't just read my report. But anyway, I don't know what happened. She was older. I don't know. But next thing I know, she was like, "Yeah, she told us that their neighbor was gonna be moving in with them." And I was like, "Wait, what? Who said that? Like, what?" I don't know what she was saying, y'all. But I was devastated. I was like, "Oh my God." And they were like, "Tanisha, y'all were saying that other people are gonna live with them, and that's against the rules. Like, whoever they put on this application, those are the people that have to live with them, like nobody else." And I was like, "No, y'all, please, like, maybe I said the question wrong. Maybe they, I don't necessarily think they meant those people are gonna live with them. Maybe they meant I was asking, is anybody going to visit at the new house?" I was like, maybe like that's my fault. I probably just asked it wrong because the English wasn't all the way there. I think they were from Nigeria or whatever. And they were like, "Sorry, sis, like we already voted." So we got off the call, y'all, and y'all, as y'all can imagine, and I'm all about giving back. Like that's my heart. So I was devastated. Do you hear me? I was crying. I was like, I cannot believe that I cost these people a home. These people getting their doors kicked in, getting robbed, not having enough space, rodents. This was their opportunity, and I messed it up for them. So I was beside myself. I don't think I could sleep that night. And so there's like a president and a vice president of the board, whatever. I don't know what their official titles are, but we'll just go with that. And so I sent an email to like the vice president. I was like, look, please, like, can we revisit this? I don't want a miscommunication or misinterpretation to, determine their fate on this. And luckily she was like, you know what? I was thinking about it too. Like, I don't feel good about it. She was like, let me revisit. Let me just talk to them again and see what's what. So I was like, thank you, please, and that's really all I could do was just to see if we could revisit. It was kind of out of my hands from that at that point. Um, and so she did, and it took a while, like almost 3 or 4 weeks had passed by. So I was like, oh man, they must have just decided no. So eventually she came back to the group and said, okay, y'all, I talked to them. There may have been some misinterpretation where they were currently living. The rules were so stringent in that if there was somebody that stayed with them for more than 3 days, I think they would have to report it or they could get kicked out. So maybe she could have interpreted that's what I was asking. Like, when you get this new home, is there anybody that's going to be, staying overnight, not necessarily living? So anyway, she decided that misinterpretation did deserve another vote. And so we got the board back together to specifically vote on these people again. I was early. Okay, I was on the call, like ready. And so they was like, okay, Tanisha, the other lady, can y'all give a recount? I'm like, that I got it. Don't you say nothing. Um, and so yeah, I just again just reiterated all the things that we seen, and that it was my fault. Maybe the way I phrased it was confusing to them. And so everybody was kind of feeling me. I feel like the president was kind of like, I don't know, like the fact that she told you that. But my thing was, we can't, all we can go is off the information that she put on the application. We can't go on all of these what if hypothetical scenarios, because we could do hypotheticals for all of the families. What if that person's husband dies, and then the amount of people on the application is not the same, or we could do that all day. So I'm like, I think we need to go off of what she put on the application. So everybody agreed. The president was still kind of like, I don't know. But luckily we took a vote, and thank God, y'all, everybody voted, and they were able to get a house. And then it was kind of like the lady I went there with, how somebody think they helping your argument, but they not. And I was like, "Shh, shh, shh, don't say nothing else. Stop." I forgot what she was saying, and I know she thought she was helping, but I was like, "Sis, please." But yeah, so that made me feel so good. I was just so grateful, y'all. I would have had to get all 7 and move them in my house, y'all, because I couldn't have lived with myself, okay, if they wouldn't have been able to get that home. So, yeah, and then the other piece of it too is, I told you, me and the guy I was talking about, we're like the only African Americans on the board or whatever. And he was just like, T, you not on code. What's happening? Because one of our things, and don't take this the wrong way. I mean, we want houses for everybody, but especially for the African American people. And this is also a part of Habitat for Humanity, so I'm not talking out of pocket here. One of their tenets is to advance Black home ownership. But as with anything, that can be the principle. But when you get down to all of these local boards that are doing this in all these cities, people can be doing whatever. The person that founded it could have, oh yeah, I want to do this, and this is the vision and mission. But the people that are carrying it out, that's what matters. And so Me and him, that's our whole thing is just to represent and make sure, the African American, families have proper and adequate representation as well. And so that's what hurt me even more. I'm like, "Oh, Lord, I'm costing our people." Yeah, so, I was just really grateful that everybody got back together and they seen kinda the heart of the matter, because I hate for us to get caught up in all of these little rules here and there, and they were able to kinda see through that, and they were able to get a home. And so just some my many reflections that I wanna leave y'all with, um, real quick here. Integrity comes with a cost. You may stand alone sometimes, you might lose opportunities, and it's easy to compromise when the stakes are high. You know what I'm saying? Integrity is really what you do when people aren't looking. Um, but I feel like the reward for integrity is peace when you're doing the right thing. Because part of me, for a second, I was like, dang, should I start lying? You know what I'm saying? um, just to make sure everybody gets a home, like, I don't wanna be the cause of people not getting a home, but I just came back to, you do have to be in integrity, at all times, just to make sure everything is on the up and up, and you'll have peace within yourself when you do that. And then the second thing is being the advocate in the room. Um, One person's courage can change the entire outcome for another person's life. And, I felt this so strongly, y'all. These people's fate was, like, in my hands. Like, what if I had decided, like, I came on the call late, they already voted, like, "Well, guess it is what it is," what if I hadn't sent that email? What if I hadn't spoke out? How would that affected that family? Maybe that mom woulda gave up hope, like, "Nobody's here to help me. I'm making $15,000 a year." Like, who knows what coulda happened? Those kids, where their paths coulda went or whatever, man. So I think it's just so important to speak up for those who can't, speak up for those who aren't present. My natural tendency, believe it or not, is to kind of play the background. I'm not like a spotlight person, you know what I'm saying? But I was proud of myself for speaking up and raising my hand and going to bat for them and making sure we had another vote and just doing all the extra to make sure that they were taken care of and that, they were able to get out of that situation, so and again, I'm not saying I'm some savior or anything, but I was proud of myself for doing that. And then also, along with being an advocate, is just speaking up for unfairness as well. Again, it might make you less popular, but I did have to bring up, I thought that question was like a trick bag because we're asking them almost to lie. We're asking them, okay, once we build this house, you're gonna have some other people living. They're gonna have to say no in order to get the house. So I'm like, we gotta figure out a way to reword or figure out if that question even matters. I mean, it's their home. We don't have anything to do with it once they have it. So who cares who they have over there? You know what I'm saying? So just speaking up for things that aren't quite right. And then finally, um, reach back as you climb. Your success isn't complete until it opens the door for someone else. And I strongly believe that as well. I feel like every human should do something to give back where you're not getting monetary compensation. Whether that's mentoring kids, helping with their homework, a after school program, volunteering at your church, just doing something to give back. I think that's just so important because we are so blessed. No matter what you feel like is going on, I know we all got things and things aren't perfect, but whatever situation you are in right now, you're still blessed. And I think when you reach back, like I said, it always centers me, and you're really able to see that. Because, in our world, it's all about us. It's all about getting the next thing, getting more money, getting more viewers and subscribers and stuff. And sometimes you just need to be recentered and be like, you know what? If I don't get another thing, I got it all. I'm blessed. And so I just shared that story with y'all. At the time, that thing, I was, like, crying. I was telling my husband and my mama, like, "Oh, Lord, I've cost people a house. I cost these people a house." I was so tore up about that thing, but I'm just glad that it all worked out in the end. So that's all I have for y'all. Look at that, 29 minutes and 6 seconds. I had 30 minutes to do this, so perfect, perfect, perfect. So I will be back. There's an extra Friday in this month, so I'll actually be back. Let me see and tell y'all the date. My next one will drop September 1st. Okay. So that's when I will come back with episode 8. All right. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, next couple of weekends, and Labor Day. And I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. See ya.